0.2% during the corresponding period in 2023. Madam Speaker, you might recall that in November 2023, the country secured support from the International Monetary Fund through the 4-year extended credit facility amounting to $175 million. I wish to acknowledge therefore that the ECF program has unlocked foreign support from various development partners, which has consequently assisted in boosting economic activities. Notably, Madam Speaker, some of development partners include the World Bank, the European Union, the German government, the African Development Bank, and the World Bank's first growth and resilience development policy operational amounting to 80 million was disbursed to government following the achievement of crucial PFM policy reforms. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the government, with support from the World Bank, has developed a new $80 million physical governance program for results, which has built on the objectives of the current launched PFM strategy. So far, Madam Speaker, 18.75 million has been received. The European Union is providing Euro 55 million as a budget support, of which Euro 20 million will be disbursed this financial year. The German government is providing Euro 17.3 million, while the African Development Bank is providing 23 million direct budgetary support. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to repeat by saying that after 12 years, for the first time, Malawi government has experienced the resumption of direct budget support. And the figures that I'm mentioning up here, Madam Speaker, demonstrate to the same. Madam Speaker, in the same vein, Madam Speaker, allow me to acknowledge the support different partners have provided in response to President's call for assistance when he declared the state of national disaster on 23rd March 2024 in 23 out of 28 districts. Several partners came forth with different kinds of support to assist the government to alleviate the suffering of Malawians. Madam Speaker, just to mention but a few, the government would like to express its gratitude to the following development partners for their financial support. The World Bank for 57.6 million from the Katrose Deferred Drawdown Option, the CAT-DDO, and an additional 35 million from Contingency Emergency Response Components for the Regional Climate Resilience Project and Food Systems Resilience Program. The African Development Bank for the general budget support of about 23 million to the agriculture sector. Let me also acknowledge the Chinese government for food assistance worth $65,000, the Japanese government for the $1.9 million for procurement of food through the World Bank or World Food Program, the Indian government, Madam Speaker, for providing 1,000 metric tons of rice provided to the government of Malawi, the government of Ukraine for 19,200 metric tons of maize provided through World Food Program, and the First Discount House Bank for 100 metric tons of maize worth 95 million provided to the National Food Reserve Agency. Government, Madam Speaker, is grateful to these and many other partners who are supporting the country in its efforts to respond to the disaster which has left many Malawians food insecure. Madam Speaker, in the spirit of spearheading recovery, development and protection, of forex, fuel, food and feed, the extent program is expected to improve the country's remittances and overall foreign exchange position. the carbon credits trading. Madam Speaker, government through the Environmental Affairs Department has developed a draft article framework to guide and regulate the implementation of carbon trading initiatives in the country. The draft framework will be concluded before this financial year. Madam Speaker, through the Kurera Ready Plus program that is being implemented in the Department of Parks and Wildlife, the country has generated about $10.3 million for implementation of community livelihoods and natural resource conservation in Lumbi and Goda districts. Overall, through auctions of carbon credits, government is set to even gain more revenues. Madam Speaker, I would like to make mention here that the carbon trading initiatives that we mentioned in this House have actually started giving us the dividends, and the evidence is the $10.3 million. Madam Speaker, government is still intensifying its efforts to unlock additional revenues through mining discounted projects and cannabis biomass projects for efforts, export diversification, among others. With regard to the ATM strategy, Madam Speaker, government continues to prioritize catalytic investment in the three identified sectors of agriculture, tourism and mining. 2024-25 mid-year budget performance. Madam Speaker, the first half of 2024-25 budget overturn was generally within the projected expenditure levels, despite a number of microeconomic challenges that affected revenue mobilization and impacted on expenditure, performance of revenue and grants. Madam Speaker, at mid-year, total revenue and grants for the 2024-25 fiscal year amounted to 1.72 trillion against a mid-year projection of 2.22 trillion. Specifically, domestic revenue was projected at 1.63 trillion, of which 1.56 trillion was tax revenue and 79.3 billion was of other revenue. However, Madam Speaker, the overturn for domestic revenue during the first half of the financial year is 1.50 trillion, representing underperformance of 8.2%. The mid-year outturn for tax revenue is 1.44 trillion against a target of 1.56 trillion, representing a variation of 7.7%. The outturn for non-tax revenue is 65 billion against a target of 79.3 billion, representing a valuation of 18%. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that the underperformance in revenue is largely due to the lower than projected economic growth and delayed implementation of some tax policy measures. However, Madam Speaker, going forward to the end of the financial year, domestic revenue is projected to be generally consistent with the approved provision. Madam Speaker, the mid-year outturn for grants is 2223, that is 223.4 billion against a projection of 584.2 billion, representing a variation of 61.8%. Of the 223.4 billion outturn, 4.3 billion is from foreign governments and international organizations. This, Madam, is however expected to improve in the second half as some disbursements materialize after the reporting period. Performance of expenditure. Madam Speaker, as at mid-year, the expenditure outturn is 2.68 trillion, consisting of 2.24 trillion in recurrent expenditure and 438.8 billion in development expenditure. The total expenditure at mid-year represented a 14.2% variation between the mid-year projection and the outturn. This, Madam Speaker, is mainly on account of lower than anticipated rate of implementation of some of the programs and activities in the first half of the financial year. Performance of recurrent expenditure. Madam Speaker, The mid-year outturn for recurrent expenditure amounted to 2.24 trillion against a projection of 2.23 trillion, representing a variation of 0.2%. This entails that the mid-year actual performance is consistent with aggregate projection. Specifically, there was a budget overrun of 24.9% on the compensation of employees and under expenditure by 13.6% on use of goods and services, 11.2% on grants to other general government units, and 0.4% on public debt interest payments. Performance of development expenditure. Madam Speaker, during the first half of 2024-25 fiscal year, development expenditure amounted to 438.8 billion, of which 143.6 billion is domestically financed and 295.2 billion is foreign financed. This represents under expenditures of 25.1% and 57.4% on domestically and foreign financed components, respectively. Madam Speaker, the underperformance is as a result of slow implementation emanating from delayed conclusion of contract price adjustment, scarcity of forex and other contractual bottlenecks, overall balance and finance. Madam Speaker, the overall balance in the first half of the 2024-25 financial year is at 950.9 billion against the projected 897.2 billion, representing a variance of 6%. This is on account of lower than envisaged revenue collection in the first half, coupled with higher than planned expenditures, largely on compensation of employees. The deficit has been financed by net domestic borrowing of 908.2 billion and foreign borrowing of 42.8 billion. Projections for the second half of the financial year. Madam Speaker, the projected 2024-25 budget for the second half has therefore taken into account the project performance during the first half of the financial year, the available physical space, and the need to contain expenditure. Madam Speaker, in the second half of 2024-25 financial year, total revenue and grants are projected at 2.90 trillion, of which 1.88 trillion is domestic revenue and 1.02 trillion are grants. Total expenditure is projected at 3.36 trillion, of which 2.22 trillion is recurrent expenditure and 1.15 trillion is development expenditure. Madam Speaker, the recurrent expenditure of 2.22 trillion comprises 647.3 billion for wages and salaries, 811.3 billion for interest payments, 387.2 billion for use of goods and services, 208.9 billion for grants to general government units, and 144.5 billion for social benefits. Madam Speaker, development expenditure of 1.15 trillion comprises 1.02 trillion for foreign financed projects and 130.5 billion for domestically financed projects. Madam Speaker, as a result of the developments in the revenue and expenditures highlighted above, the overall balance for second half of the financial year is a projected deficit of 463.22 billion. Projections to the end of fiscal year. Madam Speaker, it is government's policy to promote economic stability and improve fiscal management. This is the basis on which the 2024-25 approved budget has been revised. Madam Speaker, total revenue and grants have been revised upwards from 4.55 trillion to 4.63 trillion, and the total expenditure from 5.99 trillion to 6.04 trillion. Madam Speaker, the upward revision on expenditure is on account of the World Bank disbursements pertaining to maize purchases and winter cropping as a humanitarian response to food insecurity and the program for enhanced public finance management systems. domestic revenue projections. Madam Speaker, domestic revenue is expected to increase marginally by 0.1% from 3.38 trillion to 3.39 trillion. Of the total domestic revenue, taxes and other revenues are projected at 3.26 trillion and 128.6 billion respectively. Projections of grants. Madam Speaker, grants are projected to increase by 72 billion from 1.17 trillion to 1.24 trillion by the end of the 2024-25 financial year, representing a 6.2% increase. This is on account of an increase in current grants from international organizations. I hope this needs to be made clear. For the first time, there is confidence and trust from international organizations. That's why we are now experiencing this kind of an increase. Madam Speaker, the 2024-25 financial year's total expenditure has been revised upwards by 41.5 billion from 5.99 trillion to 6.04 trillion, representing a 0.7% increase. As earlier on indicated, the upward revision is on account of the World Bank disbursements pertaining to maize purchases and winter cropping as humanitarian response to food insecurity and the program for enhancing public finance management system. Madam Speaker, the 2024-25 development expenditure has been revised to 1.58 trillion from the approved provision of 1.77 trillion. Both domestically and foreign financed components have reduced by 110.5 billion and 76.8 billion respectively. Madam Speaker, I wish to emphasize that the reduced development budget does not entail scaling down of implementation of projects, but reflects contractual bottlenecks, and this August the House is therefore being assured that implementation of projects will continue and that all completed works will be prioritized for payment. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that implementation of a number of projects is on course. It is expected that some projects would be completed in next financial year's budget. The following are some of the projects that are targeted for completion in the next financial year. Construction of Unzuzu Civic Office, construction of Unzuzu University Library, construction of University of Malawi Administration Block, construction of Cholo District Office, construction of Maza Stadium, construction of New Blantyre Police Station, construction of Casa Center, construction of Domas Community Hospital, construction of Purpose-Built Science Laboratory Complex at Malawi University of Science and Technology, construction of Likoma Jet, and selected roads such as Dwangwa, Kapatenga, Benga, and Kenyatta and Nzimba Streets in Lilongwe. Highlights on key expenditure categories, wages and salaries. Madam Speaker, the 2024-25 approved provision for wages and salaries has been revised upwards by 201.2 billion from 1.08 trillion to 1.02 trillion, representing an November 2023. In a bid to cushion public officers from the effects of the realignment of the Kwacha and recruitment of health workers and other officers in various MDS, which took effect after the 2024-25 budget was approved. Madam Speaker, the recruitment of health workers was in fulfillment of government's commitment to introduce them on payroll upon expiry of their engagement with development partners like the Global Fund. Interest payments. Madam Speaker, the total provision of interest payments on debt has been maintained at 1.46 trillion as approved, signaling government's commitment to containing borrowing, goods and services. Madam Speaker, the 2024-25 approved provision for goods and services of 845.5 billion has been revised upwards to 931.4 billion, representing a 10.2% increase. This August, the House may wish to note that the increase is on account of resources earmarked for food security interventions and program for enhancement of public finance management systems, food security and related expenditures. Madam Speaker, the allocation for increased to 224.9 billion from 22 billion, representing a 468% increase, financed with resources from the World Bank and CAT-DDO. This has been necessitated by government's effort to minimize the food insecurity arising from the effects of El Nino weather conditions. Madam Speaker, the approved provisions for the Affordable Inputs Program have been revised to 131.6 billion. This is, however, not expected to affect the number of targeted beneficiaries, as the African Development Bank is supporting the government with resources for procurement of fertilizer. And in addition, Madam Speaker, the resources from farmers' contribution will also be used for fertilizer purchase. In addition, Madam Speaker, some farmers are being supported with agricultural inputs through the Farm Input Loan Program being administered by the National Economic Empowerment Fund. The objective is to stimulate economic growth through improved agricultural productivity and enhanced food security. As at mid-year, resources amounting to 30 billion have been disbursed towards this initiative. Local councils. Madam Speaker, in order to ensure that service delivery in all district councils is not adversely affected, the budgets for all district or local councils, all secondary schools and teachers training colleges have been maintained as approved. Unforeseen expenditure. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that the unforeseen expenditure budget line has been revised to 4.4 billion. The August House is being appraised that additional resources for disaster response amounting to 3.9 billion have been provided by World Bank and CAT-DDO. 2024-25 revised overall balance and financing. Madam Speaker, the proposed revisions in revenue and expenditures outlined above will result in a decrease in the estimated fiscal deficit from 1.45 trillion, representing 7.7% of GDP, to 1.41 trillion, representing 7.5% of GDP. This trend is in line with government's policy to promote economic stability and improve fiscal management. Government reforms, policies and programs. Madam Speaker, allow me to report to the August House on the progress of various reforms that the government is undertaking with the view of enhancing the management of financial resources and improving public service delivery. Public debt management. Madam Speaker, in order to contain debt to sustainable levels in the short term and medium terms, government will enhance its efforts to mobilize domestic resources to finance the budget. This will reduce the need for borrowing to fill the budget financing gap. In addition, Madam Speaker, the government will ensure thorough implementation of the debt management strategy, which will minimize costs and risk of public debt. On debt restructuring, Madam Speaker, significant progress has been made. Official agreements on specific restructuring terms have already been reached with some of our major bilateral creditors, including China. Discussions with the remaining bilateral creditors, including India, Kuwait Fund and Saudi Fund for Development, are being fast-tracked with the objective of reaching the necessary debt treatment in line with the IMF program requirements. Finally, Madam Speaker, negotiations in good faith are going on with the African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank, and the Trade and Development Bank, TDB. Both institutions expressed their willingness to support our endeavors to restore debt sustainability, and our teams are converging towards a mutually agreeable solution. Fiscal discipline. Madam Speaker, government is committed to reducing the fiscal deficit. In that regard, my ministry will continue with the implementation of fiscal consolidation measures to enhance revenue collection and control expenditures. State-owned enterprises performance. Madam Speaker, government continues to implement the migration of state-owned enterprises revenue account to the Reserve Bank of Malawi, which is currently in the second phase, targeting all commercial SOEs and subvented organizations. This phase is expected to be concluded by the end of this fiscal year. Public procurement and disposal of assets. Madam Speaker, let me update this August House that my ministry, through the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority, PPDA, has been working on the review of the PPDA Act to improve efficiency in the procurement process. The bill has been brought to this House for consideration and adoption. Public finance management reforms. Madam Speaker, government continues to implement public finance management reforms in collaboration with various development partners. Madam Speaker, I am delighted that some of our development partners, particularly the World Bank, have started using the country systems to disburse their financial resources. This demonstrates renewed confidence in our systems. Madam Speaker, the reforms currently under implementation include programs that seek to improve the effectiveness of resource mobilization, budget execution, and transparency of public finances. I am therefore thanking all partners that have come forward to assist in the implementation of public finance management reforms, including the World Bank through the Physical Governance Program for Results, GIZ through the Tikuze Malawi project, and EU through the Chuma Chaziko project. Foreign exchange reserves. Madam Speaker, exchange rate policy and management will continue to aim at rebuilding the foreign exchange reserves, alongside policy actions to facilitate a market-determined exchange rate. To this effect, Madam Speaker, the Reserve Bank of Malawi will continue conducting foreign exchange auctions aimed at price discovery. Further, the RBM will continue to rebuild foreign exchange reserves to a level that would provide adequate insurance against external shocks. Revenue enhancement measures. Madam Speaker, as government is introducing austerity measures to manage expenditure, efforts are also being made to boost revenue, which is currently underperforming and therefore adversely affecting the implementation of the budget. As such, Madam Speaker, allow me at this point to announce to the August House revenue enhancement measures that will be implemented. Removal of value-added tax waiver on motor vehicles imports for privileged individuals. Government will remove value-added tax on motor vehicle imports for privileged individuals and organizations. The affected individuals with this measure include the state president, the vice president, the retired president, the vice president, former vice president, and cabinet ministers, as well as members of parliament, senior officials in the judiciary, including judges, senior government officials, and senior military officials. Once this VAT bill has been passed, these privileged individuals will now pay VAT when purchasing duty-free motor vehicles. I therefore urge all members to support this bill to show our serious commitment to economic recovery when this bill is tabled in this August House. Madam Speaker, I wish to mention that there is need for collective will for us to make our economy recover. As such, Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to include and speak loudly on this one. Madam Speaker, I wish to mention in this August House that there is need for collective will for us to make our economy recover. As such, Madam Speaker, His Excellency the State President, Dr. Lazarus Makikathe Chagwera, has guided that we all make our fair contribution towards revenue that the government needs at the moment. As such, it should be noted, Madam Speaker, that this measure affects people in the high income bracket, such that the removal of the VAT waiver is a sacrifice and a clear testimony to the commitment to fiscal consolidation for the betterment of all Malawians. Madam Speaker, the other revenue measures include the following: full implementation of electronic exercise tax stamps. Madam Speaker and honorable members, you may have noticed the small yellow stickers on products such as bottled water. These are what we are calling electronic tax stamps. They are designed to help the Malawi Revenue Authority verify whether excise tax has been paid on exercise of goods such as alcoholic beverages, cigarettes, soft drinks, and bottled water. Madam Speaker, we firmly believe this initiative will decisively tackle smuggling and tax evasion. However, some operators have resisted its implementation, largely to continue with illegal activities. Let me emphasize, Madam Speaker, that this system is here to stay, and I therefore want to encourage all traders dealing in exercise of goods to immediately register with the MRA and start using tax stamps. Those who fail to comply risk having their goods confiscated from the market. Open a voluntary tax compliance window for motorcycle operators. Madam Speaker, the country has thousands of Madam Speaker, the country has thousands of unregistered motorcycles, many of which were smuggled into Malawi. This has created several problems. Firstly, the operators cannot obtain insurance, leaving themselves and passengers at great risk in accidents. Secondly, knowing their operations are illegal, these operators often act reckless, endangering public safety. To address this issue, Madam Speaker, government through MRA will open a voluntary tax compliance window for motorcycle owners. This initiative will allow unregistered motorcycles to be registered for a small fee. Designated registration sites will soon be announced by MRA. At these sites, Madam Speaker, officials from MRA, the Road Traffic Directorate, and the police will collaborate to ensure seamless process, enabling operators to live with their motorcycles fully registered. In the same vein, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the various motorcycle associations who have been instrumental to have this initiative implemented. While they will ensure their members are better equipped for our roads, the government will also raise some revenue. We believe this is a win-win scenario that we should all strive for. Expanding electronic payments across revenue collecting entities. Madam Speaker, government is committed to re-engineer its business processes with a view to modernize revenue collection through electronic payment system. In this drive, Madam Speaker, I am pleased to report to the August House that the Ministry of Lands and Department of Registrar General have already implemented the full digitalization of their revenue collection and management systems, which have led to a significant increase in revenue collected in the first half of the fiscal year. It is therefore evident that digitalization drive is reducing leakages, increasing accountability, and enhancing convenience to the public. Madam Speaker, these measures reflect government's commitment to enhancing revenue collection, promoting compliance, and addressing fiscal pressures. I therefore call upon all honorable members of the House to support these initiatives for the benefit of our nation. Madam Speaker, in addition to the revenue enhancement measures I have just outlined above, I wish to emphasize that the expenditure control measures that will be announced are equally critical if the fiscal deficit is to be managed. Submission. Madam Speaker, the August House is therefore invited to note the mid-year performance of the 2025 budget, as well as to consider and deliberate on the proposed revised estimates for the 2024-25 financial year as presented in Annexes 1, 2, and 3 of the 2024-25 mid-year budget review document. The House is also requested to approve the changes presented in some of the fourth. Madam Speaker, before I move the motion, I would like to call upon members of this august House that immediately we finish the business of today and we go out there and experience and witness the beautiful roads out there. This is an indication, Madam Speaker, that it is possible to first lift this country. It is possible to develop this country if we all unite to achieve the Malawi we all desire. In the spirit of one Malawi, Madam, one people and one nation, I beg to move. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Very much, Honorable Minister of Finance.
Nduna za juma imeneyo Simplex chithola kufotokoza.
First of all, to congratulate the Honorable Minister of Finance for presenting a wonderful media budget statement.
Hafu yoyamba ya chaka komanso kufotokoza abo maganizo amene zithu zikhalire kutsogoloku komatu akamaliza yonji pamakhazi ziwiri zitatu zoti akonzeka nyumbamo kuti ziyenda bwanji.
This will be the only business for today. I therefore wanted to move a motion for an early adjournment.
Thank you, Honorable Leader of the House. Honorable members, I now put the question. The question is that all relevant standing orders be waived in order for us to have an early adjournment. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary view say no. The ayes have it and the motion is carried. Business for tomorrow, Leader?
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, tomorrow is Thursday. While we have an opportunity to go through the media budget review statement, tomorrow we'll have private members day as it is all the time. But when business is given back to government, we'll continue with ministerial statements. Thank you, Honorable, and good evening.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader of the House. Honorable Member for Mulanje Bale, you're rising.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I wanted to highlight two issues. Much as we have received the document on the gadget, but we'll also be going home immediately after adjournment. The leader UDF I need to be protected from the leader UDF. Right Honorable. The other issue was, is there a problem in the government decided that members today decided not to attend the parliament? Where the Minister of Finance is raising a very important austerity budget. Can the backbenchers in the government see me in my office so I can speak to them? Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Mulanje Bale. Honorable members, before I adjourn the House, I've got two announcements to make. One is coming from Commissioner Panga. This is to remind all Catholics that there will be Eucharist celebration Mass today at 5 o'clock, venue Golden Peacock Hotel for our Catholic colleagues. Honorable members, before I adjourn the House, I wish to announce on the collection of the statement delivered by the Honorable Minister of Finance on the 2024-2025 mid-year budget review. The statement to be collected as follows. All Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers will receive from the Office of the President and Cabinet. All Honorable Members of Parliament will receive soft copies through your emails, and it will also be uploaded on your gadget in this chamber. And members of the Diplomatic Corps will receive from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And I've been informed that we also have received some hard copies. COP? Yes, we have received some hard copies from the honorable members from Minister of Finance, so you also receive hard copies from the Minister of Finance. May I once again appeal to all members to go through the statement and make your responses ready when debate commences on Friday, 6th December 2024. Honorable members, I now adjourn the House to tomorrow, Thursday, 5th December 2024, from 9:30 a.m. House adjourned.
It's about time. Excellent customer service is our goal. Contact Customer Experience Center for inquiries, complaints, booking of adverts and other services.
Every Saturday, tune in to Times Exclusive, where award-winning Brian Bunda asks hard-hitting questions on your behalf.
Inuyo masaganiza za chalichizi mwina nzitsamba kabena